Good evening and thanks for joining us. This is Aso Television News. My name is Usman Khatun Omar. The headlines. President Tinubu writes Senate seeks $2.34 billion loan approval to fund budget. Weekend flags of infrastructure projects in Guzape and Asokoro districts of Abuja. Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Mr. Wole Edu, reaffirms Nigeria's commitment to bold reforms in laying foundation for inclusive growth. Thank you once again for joining us. Details of the news now. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has conferred national honors on Professor Mahmoud Yakubu following the expiration of his second term in office as chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. President Tinubu, in a statement announcing his acceptance of Professor Yakubu's departure, said the honor of Commander of the Order of Niger bestowed on him was in recognition of his dedicated service to the nation. Professor Yakubu was first appointed in November 2015 as the 14th chairman of the commission for an initial term of 5 years. The appointment, which was renewed in 2020, has now expired due to the passage of time. Presidential spokesperson Bayo Onanuga, in a statement on Tuesday, said President Tinubu thanked Professor Yakubu for his service to the nation and his efforts to sustain Nigeria's democracy, particularly through the organization of free and fair elections through his two-term tenure. President Bola Tinubu has written to the National Assembly seeking an approval of a loan of $2.34 billion to fund the 2025 budget. The letter was read by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and referred to the Senate Committee on Loans, Local and Foreign Debts. For President Tinubu noted that the 2025 fiscal framework anticipates $9.27 billion in new borrowings to address the budget deficit, of which $1.84 billion is earmarked for external sources at an assumed exchange rate of 1,500 naira to a US dollars. He explains that the external borrowings will be sourced through various instruments, including Eurobonds, syndicated loans, bridge financing, or direct loans from multilateral institutions in order to optimize cost and manage risk effectively. A key element of the plan is the refinancing of Nigeria's $1.118 billion Eurobond issued in 2018 at a coupon rate of 7.7625% and due in November 2025. And now from the Senate chamber still, Senator Kelvin Chukwu, representing Enugu East Senatorial District, has officially defected from the Labour Party to the All Progressives Congress, APC. His defection was formally announced on Wednesday during plenary, following the reading of his letter by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio. In the letter, Senator Chukwu said his decision stemmed from what he described as the shattered and unfocused state of Labour Party, noting that the deepening internal crisis had made it difficult to effectively represent the interests of his constituents. Senate President Godswill Akpabio acknowledged the letter and welcomed the lawmaker to the ruling party, APC.
The reflection of my commitment to aligning with a platform that works. And I believe I will do better and represent the collective interests of my people better. I'll bring more dividends of democracy. I'll meet the aspirations of the good people of Enugu East Senatorial District and Nigerians at large. Recent developments within the Labour Party, including internal wranglings, leadership crises, policy disagreements, lack of cohesion, lack of direction, lack of focus at both the state and national levels, have made it increasingly difficult for me to effectively discharge my duties to represent my constituents.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has expressed concern over food deficit in the country, declaring that more than 33 million Nigerians suffer from acute hunger. Senator Akpabio stated this in a remark at the resumption of plenary on Tuesday in Abuja after over a 2-month recess. He maintains that the only way to address the food crisis currently rocking the country is to resort to mechanized farming. Speaking further, the Senate President drew attention to terrorism, banditry and national grid collapse as some of the challenges facing the people and called for an immediate end to them all.
Over 33 million Nigerians face acute food insecurity, a crisis demanding urgent legislative attention, particularly in areas of agriculture, rural roads, irrigation, and mechanization. This must be introduced. Hunger cannot be defeated with words. Hunger requires policy direction, diligent budgeting, and willpower to defeat it. Our people do not look to us for lamentations. That is not why they voted us. They look to us for action. The banners of terrorism and banditry still threaten the very countrysides of Nigeria. The cost of living weighs upon the families and all tables in the nation like iron chains.
Meanwhile, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, representing Kogi Central, resumed plenary at the National Assembly on Tuesday. Senator Natasha, who rounded off her 6-month suspension, officially resumed and went straight to her seat at exactly 11:42 a.m. She walked into the Senate chambers, made her way to her seat from where she exchanged pleasantries with a few senators. The Senate Committee on Public Accounts has raised concerns over reports that NNPC Retail, a subsidiary of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has declared losses despite its strategic positioning in the downstream oil sector. Chairman of the committee, Senator Aliyu Wadada, Nasarawa West, disclosed this during an interaction with journalists in Abuja on Monday. Senator Wadada said the development was worrisome and of public interest, stressing that the committee would summon NNPC Retail to explain the circumstances behind the reported loss.
NNPC Retail has declared loss. That is also of concern to the committee and the public as well, because we cannot understand why NNPC Retail should declare loss. But whatever it is, this is our, our perception and understanding of the situation. When NNPC is called on this, we shall also hear what they have. But as far as the audited financial statement of NNPC that the world knows this committee is investigating between 2017 to 2023, the NNPC has responded to the 19 questions we sent. And the press or the Nigerians or the public will know what the response, the answers are, and out of the answers, what those that make sense and those that do not make sense shall be known to the public.
The lawmaker revealed that the committee had earlier issued 19 queries to NNPC Limited over its audited financial statements covering 2017 to 2023. According to him, the company has since responded to all the questions through the documents, though the documents are yet to be laid before members of the committee.
The ultimatum given to NNPC wasn't during the recess. It was before the recess. And while at the recess, they wrote us to say that we should please extend the period because they were putting the data or the information or responding to the various questions together, which of course we did. And they have responded. We have all the answers to the 19 questions we asked. But it is yet to be tabled before the committee. And that's why the committee, via me as the chairman, is still not saying anything until it is put before members of the committee. But permit me to say, like I promised, or the committee promised earlier, we shall definitely do justice to that matter. And beyond even the audited financial statement, there are other issues coming up around NNPC. First one is the production sharing contract. What is the production cost to Nigeria? That must have to be defined, be gotten, and the public will be made to know what it is. What goes to NNPC? What goes to the IOCs, that is international oil companies, and what goes to the government under the production cost, that is production sharing, contract.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Eze Wiki, has flagged off the provision of engineering infrastructure to outstanding layouts within Guzape A09, that is lots 1 and 2, and the AIT neighborhood in Aso district. Barrister Wike said the project reflects President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's commitment to expanding road networks and ensuring balanced development across Abuja. He warned against the indiscriminate naming of streets by individuals, stressing that only contributors to the city's growth will be honored, and urged the contractors, that is Ntata and Sawoe, to deliver the project on schedule while engaging local youths.
We have said we will continue to provide basic infrastructure. We will continue to do all we can to see that Abuja takes a different look, competes with other cities of the world. Let me commend Ntata and Sawoe. They are an old company, indigenous company, but having some foreign contact, but local content fully, but having some foreign content, which is supposed to be. I have no confidence in you that you deliver on schedule. I want to advance the youth, the experience to complete these jobs on time so that our people will benefit. Because Mr. President has promised all of us, not only just those in Abuja, those who are living also outside Abuja, that there will be a difference. And that's the essence of within the Hope agenda. If things were good, we wouldn't have had the New Hope agenda. But because things were bad, and there's the need to rekindle the hope of Nigerians, that don't lose hope. We're here to bring back the hope that you have lost.
Minister of State for FCT, Dr. Maria Mahmood, said the project demonstrates the administration's resolve to make all FCT districts accessible and well-serviced. She explained that the new road networks will open up the districts for development, enhance connectivity, and ease traffic congestion across adjoining routes. Dr. Mahmood praised the National Assembly for its legislative support and commended Barrister Wike for his dynamic leadership.
A moment that speaks not just about progress but also promises, as have been highlighted. Today we are witnessing another bold step in transforming the great city of Abuja by providing this engineering infrastructure to the outstanding layouts in Kuzape, lots 1, 2, and part of Asokoro. These are testaments to the vision, commitment, and also dedication and determination of the administration of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. Our greatest gratitude goes to His Excellency, Mr. Project, whose leadership continued to set a pace for growth and development in the FCT. It is under his direction that some projects that we were seeing far and distant are now standing before us as a reality. We thank you, Mr. Project, sir.
Acting Executive Secretary of the Federal Capital Development Authority, Engineer Richard Dauda Yunana, said the contract awarded to Ntata and Sawoe covers about 9.2 kilometers of roads and related facilities, including drainage, water, pipelines, electricity, and street lighting. He disclosed that the project approved by the Federal Executive Council is expected to be completed within 18 months and will significantly improve accessibility, security and living standards in Guzape and Asokoro districts.
Your Excellency, the project was awarded to Mr. Stantata and Sawo Construction Company Nigeria Limited in March 2025, and the project is expected to be completed within 18 months. Your Excellency, the scope of works for this project includes provision of infrastructure to about 24 short roads, totaling about 9.2 kilometers. This infrastructure to be provided also includes earthworks, surface water drainage pipe network, asphalt paved roads, box and pipe culverts, foul sewer drainage network, water distribution pipe network, street lighting, power supply, and telecommunication ducts.
When completed, the project is expected to open up new residential and commercial opportunities within the area, reduce commuting challenges and contribute to the FCT administration's broader vision of transforming Abuja into a modern and inclusive city that meets global urban standards. You're watching Aso Television News. Remember, you can watch us live on DSTV channel 392, on Star Times channel 127, and on Free TV, we are on channel 507. And of course, on the UHF band, we are on channel 38. Still ahead in the news, Finance and Coordinating Minister, Mr. Wole Edun, reaffirms Nigeria's commitment to bold reforms in laying foundation for inclusive growth. For detail of these and more stories, do stay with us. We'll be back after this short break.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
Let's go! Lights, camera, action. Put your mind to it. Look the life that you remember.
Stay connected. Stay with us. Starting from Yanga and Jolly.
The Federal Capital Territory Administration, that is FCTA, has once again carried out an enforcement exercise at the River Park Estate in Abuja to stop ongoing illegal construction works in defiance of a ministerial directive. The operation, led by the director of the FCTA's Department of Development Control, Town Planner Mukhtar Usman Galadima, followed reports that a developer had resumed building activities despite a standing order halting all development in the estate. Town Planner Galadima, who spoke to journalists after the exercise, said the team was on grounds to ensure total compliance with the FCT administration's directive suspending all construction activities at River Park Estate. He said the latest operation was prompted by intelligence that some developers were flouting the order, stressing that the structures erected in violation had been removed to restore order.
We are here to ensure total compliance with the ministerial directive that no development should be allowed in River Park Estate. Got a report that there is an ongoing development. That's why we rushed to ensure that that development is stopped and the structure removed. So we're here to remove what has been put.
The director lamented that the team had visited the estate on 3 different occasions for the same violation, describing it as a deliberate act of defiance against the government. He disclosed that the FCT administration, through its legal secretariat, was now taking steps to initiate legal proceedings against those behind the continued disregard for ministerial instructions.
Well, maybe there's a perception to what he thinks that he can do, but you see, nobody is above government. So, just like the way I say, we're going to take it up legally, because we have done the kinetic aspect. Now we'll take it up legally to see that this thing will don't come back again. At this moment, I can't say anything because, as I said earlier on, I'm going to consult the legal secretariat. What next line of action should be taken?
According to him, nobody is above government, noting that noting that while the administration had earlier adopted physical enforcement, the next phase will involve legal measures to ensure lasting compliance and prevent further infractions. He added that the recurrent disobedience would not deter the FCTA from protecting the Abuja master plan. Town Planner Galadima also clarified that the developers were fully aware of the Ministerial Committee's recommendations, which include halting all ongoing projects and reverting all unallocated plots in the estate to the FCTA administration. He assured that the government would sustain the enforcement drive until complete compliance is achieved and order is restored within the estate. Moving on, Africa is mobilizing to take decisive control of its own health future amid a worsening landscape of rising outbreaks and sharp cuts in foreign aid. The Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Africa CDC, made this declaration during a media briefing officially announcing the 4th International Conference on Public Health in Africa 2025. The conference, which with the theme Moving Towards Self-Reliance to Achieving Universal Health Coverage and Health Security in Africa, is co-hosted by Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention and the Government of South Africa in collaboration with the Africa Bio's 8th Annual Bio-Africa Convention, expected to come on in Durban, South Africa from October 22 to October 25, 2025. Speaking at the media briefing, Director General of Africa CDC, Dr. Jean Kaseya, underscored the critical need for the change, noting that for years African health systems have relied on external financial and logistical support, as this model, he said, is no longer tenable.
Since 2021, foreign assistance for health in Africa has dropped by nearly 70%. It means hospitals without essential supplies, communities left without clinics, health workers losing their jobs. Many African countries are burdened with shrinking fiscal space and rising debt cost. But we are not powerless. Across the continent, governments are taking strong, bold actions. The Accra initiative, complementing the Africa Health Financing in a New Era, launched by Africa CDC, are clearly showing a pathway towards sustainable financing of health.
The Economic Community of West African States, that is ECOWAS Chairman and President of Sierra Leone, Julius Maada Bio, opened the Ad Hoc Council of Ministers meeting at the ECOWAS headquarters here in Abuja, emphasizing the importance of fairness, inclusivity, and regional solidarity in the allocation of leadership roles. The meeting aims to review the distribution of statutory positions for the 2026 to 2030 term as current mandates near completion. Oluwapelumi Adeyemi has more details.
President Bio urged ministers to approach discussions with the commitment and open-mindedness in prioritizing regional unity over national interests.
To facilitate this process, Council established this 8-member ad hoc committee comprising of the republics of Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Nigeria, Senegal, and Togo, to review the proposed allocation of the Commission and submit it to the Council for consideration and ultimately to the ECOWAS Authority for decision. A memo was prepared taking into account the provisions of the 2012 Supplementary Act.
Minister of State for Foreign Affairs Bianca Ojukwu, on her part, pointed that as the seats of current statutory appointees of 4-year terms are set to expire, there is need for equitable representation, particularly for smaller or less resourced member states that have demonstrated unwavering commitment to ECOWAS.
Our mandate, therefore, is to carefully review the Commission's proposals and to submit our report to the Council of Ministers during the statutory meetings in December 2025 for its final consideration and subsequent recommendation to the authority.
The committee's recommendations will be submitted to the ECOWAS Council of Ministers in December, with the authority of heads of state and government making the final decision. Mr. Mada Bio, in his closing remark, disclosed that the Commission stands ready to provide services that would ease the work of the committee. Belumi Adeyemi, Aso Television News.
Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitments to bold reforms that are restoring stability, strengthening investor confidence, and laying the foundation for inclusive growth. A statement by the Director of Information and Public Relations to the Ministry of Finance, Mr. Mohammed Manga, disclosed that the minister, speaking at the 31st Nigerian Economic Summit in Abuja, said the country is at a pivotal moment where decisive action will determine its economic future. The minister pointed to the significant progress already achieved, including stabilization of the naira, improved foreign exchange management, higher federal allocations, and early signs of easing inflation. The minister stressed that with tax revenues at just 13% of GDP compared to 50 to 60% in peer economies, he acknowledged the urgency of widening the base to fund critical infrastructure and social programs. On social investment, he announced that the direct benefits transfer scheme has already reached over 8 million Nigerians with a target of 15 million households by year end. The minister further underscored President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's commitment to policies that deliver fiscal stability, attract investment, and ensure prosperity in broadly shared. Now, the National Bureau of Statistics has acknowledged the critical role of the Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey, MICs 7, in effective decision-making for national growth, while commending efforts of all stakeholders, especially the steering committee and relevant partners, for the success. Statistician General of the Federation and Chief Executive Officer of the NBS, Prince Adeyemi Adeniro, is in Abuja during the flagging off of the MICs 7, highlights major objectives to include, among others, human capital development in line with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's led administration. For detail, we join our business correspondent, Ile Emeje.
The Statistician General of the Federation and Chief Executive Officer of the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, Prince Adeyemi Adeniran, in his keynote address at the flagging off of the Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey in Abuja, highlights major objectives of the survey to, among others, informing decision to reducing mortality rate, as well as delivering better results for all Nigerians.
The objectives of this 7th round remain clear and strategic. They reflect our collective resolve to deepen evidence-based policy making and strengthen data systems that inform meaningful development outcomes. Another one is to provide disaggregated data for identifying disparities and promoting social inclusion.
While flagging off the Mix 7, the Statistician General affirmed commitment of the Bureau to timely and accurate data.
It will inform decisions on where schools are needed, how to strengthen immunization coverage, how to reduce child and maternal mortality, and how to direct resources to the communities that need them most.
Speaking in an interview with newsmen at the sideline of the event, Prince Adeniran emphasized relevance of the survey to boosting the country's developmental initiatives.
Multiple Indicator Cluster 7, round 7 of which we are flagging off today, is a nationally representative survey that is being conducted by National Bureau of Statistics.
Other critical partners present, including representatives of UNICEF, expressed optimism that the survey will deliver positive results while pledging more support.
This will help us to understand the situation of children, but also this will allow the policy makers to make policies and plans so that their situation can be improved.
The Bureau Chief further urged for full support and cooperation of citizens, especially households, for better outcome. Ile Emeje, Aso Television News.
And that's the size of our package for this evening. We sincerely thank you for watching as we return you back to our regular program schedule. Good evening. My name is Usman Khatun Omar.